For the Air Force Association in Virginia, this is your AFA Daily Report.
Black Airmen talk race in the Air Force. Black airmen are wrestling with their own reality in an Air Force that still suffers from its own racial blind spots and systemic discrimination, as civil unrest sweeps the nation following the May death of George Floyd. A dozen black airmen, including current and former officers, enlisted members, and civilians, shared their experiences with Air Force magazine in June, describing how race has influenced their lives and careers, and how the Air Force still needs to evolve.
Shaw identifies pilot killed in F-16 crash. The F-16 pilot killed in the June 30 crash at Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, has been identified as First Lieutenant David Schmitz. Schmitz, assigned to the 77th Fighter Squadron at Shaw, was flying a local training sortie as his squadron is preparing to deploy when his F-16CM crashed on the base at about 11:30 p.m. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Schmitz is a prior enlisted airman, who served as a C-17 loadmaster before earning his commission through Officer Training School, 20th Fighter Wing Commander Colonel Larry Sullivan said in a video. He earned his pilot's license at 17 years old, before enlisting in the Air Force.
House Armed Services Committee passes 2021 policy bill. The House Armed Services Committee argued its way through its version of the fiscal 2021 defense policy bill on July 1, ultimately approving the annual legislation 56-0. The unanimous vote is a stark departure from the committee's 33-24 vote last year, which largely fell along party lines after a contentious marathon debate. In comparison, this markup lasted only about 14 hours. One of Congress's most traditional lawmaking processes is taking place under the least traditional circumstances, thanks to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Ling Yell, military should stay out of civil unrest missions. Civil unrest response efforts should be undertaken by law enforcement authorities, not U.S. troops, National Guard Bureau Chief Air Force General Joseph L. Ling Yell said July 2 during an event hosted by the Brookings Institution think tank. In my opinion, uniforms, I don't care what flavor they are, Title 10, active duty, National Guard, Reserve, uniforms being out there in law enforcement situations is not optimal, he told Brookings Senior Fellow Michael E. O'Hanlon during a live-streamed conversation about the state of the Guard. We should do as little of it as we can, and it should be predominantly a law enforcement, police operation, and when they need us, we can and we will come. But we should do what we can to avoid that. As of the morning of July 22, approximately 570 Guard personnel, including about 60 Air Guardsmen, were still activated in 6 states and the nation's capital to back up law enforcement in case unrest broke out, down from nearly 41,500 at the beginning of June. DoD, Afghan Air Force airstrike operations improving, struggles in maintenance. The Afghan Air Force has made major strides in its ability to plan and conduct operations, especially on its A-29 Super Tucano fleet, but it is overly reliant on contractor support to keep flying, according to a new Defense Department report on progress in Afghanistan. The Afghan Air Force, alongside the country's special forces, are the most capable components of Afghanistan's military, the Pentagon said in a report to Congress released July 1. The Afghan Air Force's strike aircraft, which was almost nothing in 2014, now conducts nearly half of all airstrikes in the country even as U.S. airstrikes have surged. The Afghan Air Force comprises 3 flight wings and 18 detachments, flying A-29s, C-208s, AC-208s, C-130s, Mi-17s, and MD-530s.
Clark nominated to lead Air Force Academy. President Donald J. Trump has nominated Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark to be the next U.S. Air Force Academy superintendent. If confirmed, Clark will replace Lieutenant General J.B. Silveria, who graduated from the Academy in 1985 and has led the school since August 2017. Silveria plans to retire later this year, according to a U.S. Air Force Academy release. Clark, who currently works as the Air Force's Deputy Chief of Staff for Strategic Deterrence and Nuclear Integration, is a 1986 Academy graduate and a former Commandant of Cadets, according to his service biography. Prior to his arrival at the Pentagon, he led 3rd and 8th Air Forces, and served as Vice Commander of Air Force Global Strike Command.
Virtual events, Mitchell rolls out new paper, and more. On July 8, AFA's Mitchell Institute will host a virtual rollout for its newest paper, Building an Effective, Efficient Air Force, The Imperative for Cost per Effect Analysis. Event video will tentatively be posted on Mitchell's website and YouTube page after the event. We need to state a correction in the July 2 Daily Report. A story that ran in the July 2 Daily Report, USAF taps 18 more companies to develop new combat network, incorrectly identified how much money each company could receive under the contract. Each contract is notionally worth up to $950 million. We have corrected the story online.
End of transmission.